Hello, my name is David Turner and this is another episode of Lunar Poetry Shorts, and today I'm in fucking Asia. It's amazing. I'm in Asia. And my guests today are Sine and Naz, and together they run MauMau Artist Residency Program Centre here in Istanbul. Sine is the founder and Naz is the program leader. Hello, you two. Say hello. Hello. I think we're going to start with asking you both to tell me about MauMau and how it runs and how it started and why it started. And maybe because Sine's the founder, we'll start with Sine.
The idea of MauMau actually was based on my experiences in artist in residence program in Europe.
Yeah.
When I came back, I thought to have an art residency program in Istanbul is a necessity. Because it is created for artists just to produce.
Yeah.
The environment is especially built on this context. So I just wanted to have an art residency in which I would like to be an artist. So we designed the building in that term. We decided how long will be the art residency program on that term. Yeah, it's been 3 years now, and we really enjoy to have MauMau.
And do you have a lot of support locally from the residents? Is it well received, the centre, do you think? The local residents in the area around it, do you think the people that live in the local area think it's a good thing as well?
We have very good relations with our neighbours
Mm.
in general, but as Sine always says, it took some time, a lot of struggle to build that relation, but at the end, we feel like they support us a lot.
Yeah, what were the problems in the beginning? Were just people didn't understand what you were trying to do, or?
People didn't understand what an art residency is.
Yes.
Interestingly, also the artists in Turkey in the beginning didn't understand what an art residency is. It was the biggest struggle because it has no. There are many examples. We had Karavansaray before that. They closed a year ago. We have Halka Art, but there are few. Compared to population of Istanbul and its importance in the art scene in the world, the number of the art residencies are very few. So it was the biggest struggle because we host the artists, we have the exhibition, we have artists from visual arts background, we have writers, we live together, we work together, we produce together. So this context actually it's not very common here.
I was going to actually have a follow-up question. How unusual? Because I've only been here not even a week yet, and it seems like quite an unusual project to have that kind of artist residency. And you're right. Most cities that I visited in Europe, these kind of organisations they're all over the place, But this, I think, that feeling came about when I came to the opening of the exhibition on Saturday, wasn't it? And it felt like a real centre. A lot of people travelled from different parts of the city just to come to that small, which was a relatively small exhibition, but there seemed to be an energy drawing people in, and it seemed like it was an unusual thing to be happening, to have this artist residency program like that.
It is an unusual thing because the artists we host, as I told, they produce in Istanbul, so you can directly see the effect of their experience. They had in MauMau, in Istanbul in general. So the artworks are kind of shaped in that sense.
Yeah.
And it takes too much attention because of it. Not only the Turkish art scene, but also I don't like the word foreigners, but international art environment. It takes attention. I guess that's the reason, because we are offering something. For instance, Alice works might be only seen in Istanbul once or twice, or 3 times at least. It's not a Turkish artist that have an exhibition almost in a year. So it's something that you unusually you will see once, and then that's it.
Yeah, and next I'd like to talk more specifically about the writing programs that happen at MauMau. So maybe Niles could tell us a bit more about how they work and what kind of people apply, and so we'll just start with that.
So we have our application deadlines, and we get the applications from writers, and we go over the applications and we choose some of the writers depending on their portfolio and CVs and everything. And then they come and they stay. Now they stay for 3 weeks. But beginning with the next period, they are gonna, like next autumn, they are gonna begin to stay for 6 weeks. And what they do is that they work on their writings mostly, so they do whatever they want actually. Like we don't pressure neither our artists nor our writers. So if they want to do anything, they just do it. But at the end, like depending on their needs, also we can have like reading sessions so that they can share what they have been writing in Istanbul with the audience.
Yes.
Or I don't know, anything. And we have like open microphone events. We just began, so like we invite.
You had one last week, didn't you?
Yeah.
So just before I came.
Thinking about like keeping on doing that, so that like people can mingle with each other and like share what they have been writing.
Yeah, I get the impression that the writing programs here are quite sociable, aren't they? It's nice that they're combined with the arts side as well, because I suppose it could be quite a lonely experience travelling to Istanbul and just being holed up in a room and writing for 3 weeks. It does seem at MauMau that people are encouraged to, not forced to, but encouraged to mingle with the artists in the programme, but also local artists as well in Istanbul.
Yeah.
How do you see the writing programmes? Do you see them just carrying on in the format that they're in, or will they develop any more, do you think? Are you happy with the way that the outcome so far from?
Always the basic idea is to be flexible as much as possible for the artists and for the writers. I mean, we try to shape our 6 weeks in terms of their needs. Now we started with open microphone. The next step might be a constant relationship with Turkish writers around.
Yeah.
It might be nice to have a common I don't know, meetings, let's say. I don't know how it would work, because the thing is, of course, with literature, the border is always the language.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a dilemma we face with. But somehow we plan to have some common ground with Turkish writers together with our writers. But as I told, I mean, the most important thing is to be as flexible as possible. If it is the same with artists in residence program, if the artists do not prefer to have an exhibition, it should be okay with us. If the writer wants to be locked in his or her room for 6 weeks, it should be okay with us, because it is created for the artist to be more fruitful as possible.
Yeah. Okay, we might have a reading now, and we're going to begin with a poem from Nas.
All those stories never told. The girl who wanted to tell the stories never told. Now I will tell you her story, which has never been told. The girl ran after these stories for so long, too long for some, and she ran and ran. When she stopped, she realized she was too far away from the land where all parrots talked. Surrounded by parrots, uttering her words of mold, those parrots fed her with golden nuts. Those golden nuts turned into golden horns, and the horns gave life to babies, half nuts, half horns. She grabbed the babies and whispered in their ear, "Tell me your story," she said, and waited too long, so long for some, and carried those babies to the ocean, left them there for 41 days, 'cause somebody told her it was sacred. Those 41 days covered the babies in salt, and on the salt there were words. She read the words and made sentences out of the stories never told. Some say that parrots from the far, far away land still knows the stories never told, but they stay in silence and they'll tell the stories only they are told. Those stories will never be told.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to talk about your writing individually. So, rather than me pretending to know, maybe you should just start yourselves. And since you just read your poem, Nars, maybe you could begin and just tell us a bit about how you write.
So I have taken some classes at the university, mostly like a lot of classes like creative writing classes in memoir, like story writing, like poetry. I don't really have like, if I feel like I have something to tell, like I can't really stick on any of these like ways of telling it, but mostly I feel myself coming to poems somehow. And like I have some inspirations about that, especially my poetry teacher at the university, Julie Doxey. Like I kept on coming back to her books, like looking at them and just like creating, and I just like an idea comes to my mind and I begin to tell, like I feel like I'm telling a story and I just like let it go somehow, and I don't even know like where it's gonna take me somehow. So it's like a like fantasy world for me. I don't like in which where I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah, so you allow the narrative to guide you towards the final the final piece, whether it be prose or verse or. Okay, and Sine, how about your writing? Because
it's the hardest thing to talk about your writing section.
Yes, yeah.
It all started with actually a decision. I decided to write. First, I started to write poems and plays, and beginning with 2010, 2008, I don't know. I started to write short stories. It is the hardest thing to talk about the writing.
No, actually, I mean to talk sort of just plainly about what you write is, I think, enough information at the moment. So because you're going to read a short story today, aren't you, rather than poetry?
Yeah.
So
I can talk about the structure of my short stories. I try to keep it as simple as possible, to as short as possible. It might be called as minimalism.
Yeah, well, that's enough. There's also, we do have I mean, your English is very good, but there's also an issue here of being descriptive about your own work in your second language. I know it's difficult, but
I don't think it's possible.
Exactly.
In
so
your language.
So I mean, I'm not trying to put you too much on the spot. If I think you've explained quite nicely. This is probably going to be an awful question for you as well, but how do you see your own writing developing? Are you happy with the style of writing just continuing as it is, or do you have any sort of goals for your writing?
Nowadays, while writing my next book, I push myself into more abstract writings instead of realist point of view. It's been a hard but somehow also very fruitful process for me, because somehow I'd like to I don't know how to put it, to talk about more, let's say, not political but social social things in a non-direct way.
Okay.
In a hidden way, let's say. So abstract writing fits in that context very well.
So using more symbolism and in a way.
In the beginning I wasn't at all. In the beginning I wasn't at all.
Okay. And Nars?
I am trying to discipline myself more, especially being very close to Sine. Like I'm trying to learn a little bit from her, making writing more part of your life somehow, because it's sometimes hard for a writer to put writing in the middle, in the center of your writing.
Yes.
Especially when you are working in a place you need to be socializing a lot. Actually, it's hard to close yourself, because it's hard to write covered up with all those people, so you need some space for yourself, but it's just hard to create, and I'm still trying to work on that somehow. And it's hard for me, like I'm still having sometimes hard time to, because I write in English, but sometimes I like write in Turkish, so like still having like language decision problems somehow.
Actually, just a quick question on that. Do you write in English or do you translate from Turkish?
No, I write
You
in
write
English.
in English, yeah.
Because I think I also wrote a poem about that before. It's more, because I like the distance I put with like writing in another language. I just like that distance, because with Turkish it's just too personal. And
do you feel with, especially, I mean, I've only heard that poem you just read, but it's quite sort of fantasy based. Do you think it would be difficult for you to explore that fantasy world in Turkish, and is it easier in English to? Yeah. That's interesting.
I feel like that. Then because it's more distant, you know, you can go to that distant world more easily with a distant language. I feel like.
And I've also heard just briefly from other writers in Turkish how hard it is to translate from Turkish to English anyway. So maybe it's easier to start in English. Yeah.
It's all different. Like
I mean, I have a terrible problem when I'm translating into Turkish. It's just
how it sounds, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to catch the rhythms in a way.
Yeah, so it's easier just just write a fresh piece. And we're going to have our second reading, and this time it will be Sine. And actually, we're going to hear some Turkish rhythms. Thank you, Sine.
Uyandım, zifiri karanlık. Sabah olmalıydı, olmamıştı. Öyle bir karanlık ki göz alışmıyor. Elimi gözümün önüne getirdim, yok. Yüzüme değdirdim, var. Çektim, uzaklaştırdım, yok. Sonra iyice elime yüzüme bulaştı, boğazıma yapıştı, kulağıma doldu, burnumdan girdi. Elimi kolumu salladım, savuşturmaya çalıştım, yok. Ayağımı yataktan indirdim, yer vardı, ötekine indirdim, ayağa kalktım, durdum. Adım atmaya korktum. Yere eğildim, kolumu uzattım, havada gezdirdim, önüm açık. Sürünerek kapıyı buldum, yerinde. Koridor uzadıkça uzadı, dışarı çıktığımda kan ter içinde yorgundum. Başımı o yana bir bu yana çevirdim. Çıkış aradım, yok. Ağlayasım geldi, ağladım. Ne yana gitsem diye düşündüm. Sağa döndüm. Niçin sol diye sormadım. Kolumu havada gezdirip sürünerek ilerledim. Gözümü çıkardın dedi bir ses. Özür dilerim. Ne dedim bu karanlık? Dün gazeteleri okumadın mı? Yok dedim, okumadım. Karanlık geldi. Ne zaman gidecek? Bilmem dedi. Belli değil. Ne yapacağız gidene dek? Bilmem. Nereye dedim? Bilmem. Ben de nereye bilmem sürünmeye devam ettim. Bir ses. Sayın halkımız, birazdan yemek yağacak, lütfen başınıza dikkat edin. Sonra patır patır yağmur gibi dolu gibi yemek yağdı. Başıma düşenlerden birini buldum. Ambalajı açtım, kokladım. Kokusu yok. Yedim, tadı yok. Yedim yine, daha süründüm, başka buldum. Onu da yedim. Rahatlık çöktü, mutlu oldum. Karanlığı öptüm, okşadım, parmaklarımın arasından kaydı. Avucuma doldu, her yanımdaydı. Sarıldım, uyudum. Uyumak güzel dedi yumuşak bir ses. Uyumak güzel dedim. Huzurlusun dedi, huzurluyum. Her şeyin taslamam, her şeyim taslamam. Anons. Sayın halkımız, karanlığa karşı bir grup mumu yakarken yakalandı. Bu ne doyumsuzluktur. Hadi hep beraber yuhlayalım. Uğultular. Ben de katıldım. Yuhladım. İçime kendimden bilmediğim bir öfke bürüdü. Yeri yumukluyordum. Her yuhta ağzımdan tükürükler saçıyordum. O mum yakanlardan birinin elimde olmasını, ona acı çektirmeyi istedim. Sonra yoruldum. Yemek yağdı. Yedim. Uykum geldi. Neye öfkelendiğimi unuttum. Uykuya daldım. Ne kadar uyudum bilmiyorum. Bacaklarım uyuşmuştu. Sanki yoktular. Ayağa kalkmayı ise artık canım çekmiyordu.
Thank you, Sine. I'm sure that was lovely. No, it sounded really nice. No, the language was really, the sound of that was really nice. I'm going to have to try and find out what that was about. I'm really intrigued now. Actually, I just want to mention. So Sine was reading from her book, and what's that called?
Life sometimes.
But in Bazen Hayat, and what's that mean? Sorry.
Life sometimes.
Life sometimes. Oh, I like that. Life sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, and then what would, as I always say, both Naz and Sine, their full names and the name of the book and any blogs and links to MauMau will be in the description of this video. So we won't dwell on too much like on the finer details. They'll be listed because if I try to say them, you won't understand them anyway. So just last couple of questions. If you could both tell us a bit about what your influences over your writing have been. Maybe we start with Naz.
Yeah, so as I told you, like my professor Cugouglu, I just love her so much, and I like love her writings, and she's a great inspiration for me, I can say. And I'm feeling like I'm getting inspired a lot by Sine, like just being around her, like the way he writes, the way he thinks, like she's also a great inspiration for me. Yeah. I don't like, also in my life, like I can't really stick on only one thing, so I can't stick on only one writer, so I keep on like experiencing and like finding out new writers like as much as I can. So I always get like recommendations from people I like, so that they can suggest me like the good ones. Yeah. And like mostly I have been actually reading like what Sine has been suggesting me lastly, and it has been like a great experience for me. Yeah. So I think that's better if she if she can mention like some names.
Yeah, and yourself, what any influences over your own work?
As influence, I don't know, but I really like to read Raymond Carver, Felisberto Hernandez. Now I recently and very lately discovered Faulkner. Okay. Said Faik, Turkish writer, Yusuf Obener, Catherine Mansfield, Truman Capote. Yeah, I can keep
Maybe I can add.
Sure, of course.
I like Turkish writer Haldun Taner.
Yeah,
and also like Borges is a great one. Cortázar is a great one.
Yeah. And so the last couple of questions on these things are always the same anyway, and I usually ask what the writers or artists would recommend for our listeners to check out. But it would be nice if we talk specifically about MauMau, because that's what sort of brought us together to talk in the first place. So have you got anyone you'd like to mention that has passed through MauMau that you think people should check out? And it can be, this doesn't have to be literature based, it can be visual arts or anything.
So many.
Yeah. Apart from saying all of them, obviously, because they must be all great. But just like one or two in particular.
For sure, Ernesto Klar, I guess. We also showed his work on contemporary Istanbul. Yeah. He has a project, dust project. He is collecting dust all over the world. He gonna have an exhibition in New York next year. He is a performing / video artist, let's say. Who would like to mention? I guess Camila Alegria from Chile. She works on installation. I mean, it's very mixed media because she also has paintings, but how she installs them together actually has the whole picture and the whole meaning. We had her exhibition on September together with
Veronica
Selingerova. She's also There are so many. I mean, more than 50 artists. So
I know, and it's actually quite a difficult question to answer, and it sort of puts. But usually, when I do these shorter podcasts, I email the questions to people and allow them to prepare a bit, because sometimes the simpler questions are the ones that, because suddenly to think of names on the spot. But you've been very kind to meet me under such short notice, anyway. So we're gonna finish now. We're gonna finish with another reading from Naz.
Don't you sometimes wish turtles could fly? Sun is falling behind the mountains when you are giving me the paints and pointing at your wardrobe. Don't think, you say. I follow you in the woods. When the old woman sits on the couch, without knowing I may die soon, her husband coughs like I do, and your smoke follows me into my nightmares full of graves. Nobody knows, but I cry for the man trying to sell toys to kids who do not want to play. Don't think, I say, and I follow you in the woods. Oh, but they can. I want to walk on the roof, I said, and we spent hours in front of the window, trying to find a way to the roof, and you held my hand when I walked on your roof. But it didn't carry me, too fragile, you said, so we ate sushi in silence. Now I am staring at a fork, standing on the roof, and thinking about cancer and death. Across the ocean, there is a gypsy, trying to sell roses to couples who don't know how to love, and I hear the voice of the girl who loved you, saying I want to walk on this roof and eat this moon with this fork. But my hands are empty now, and there is no sushi across the ocean, only gypsies and death.
Thank you very much, Naz. And thank you to both of you, Sine and Naz, and thank you to MauMau for making my very short stay in Istanbul, even more amazing. It's enriched it a lot, just being able to meet all the artists that are just sort of encircling MauMau. It's been really nice.
Thank you for visiting us.
No problem.
Please come back.
Oh, we'll do. No, I'm not leaving now. And just for any listeners, this is an English thing, that know the comedy programme, The League of Gentlemen, you must know how hard it is for me not to tell the joke about death by MauMau. But no one in this room is going to get that reference, but that doesn't matter. Thank you again. And like I said, the details about websites and full names and the people that Sine and Naz recommended to check out, we'll put that information in the description as well. Yeah.